Pain is not the enemy. It is the beginning of transformation. The path of 11 November is not about escaping what hurts you. It is about learning to see what your pain is trying to show. Every pain that ever entered your life carried a message. It came to wake you up, not to destroy you. When the 11 November energy moves through you, it reminds you that the pain you carry is not here to punish you. It is here to push you toward awakening. The reason most people suffer endlessly is because they keep running. They cover the pain with noise, with distraction, with endless movement. But 11 November asks for silence. It asks you to stop and look directly into what hurts, because only when you stop running can you begin to understand what that pain truly wants from you. Pain is a teacher. It speaks in a language that only presence can hear. If you are willing to listen, you will realize it is not against you. It is shaping you. There is a moment when life tests you, when everything feels heavy. It is in that moment that you are being called to grow. On 11 November, this energy intensifies. The air feels charged with the power of transformation. It is a day when the universe seems to whisper, "Do not resist," because resistance is what keeps pain alive. What you resist persists, but what you face begins to fade. When you face the pain within you, not with fear but with awareness, it starts to dissolve. You begin to see the strength hidden beneath the suffering. Many believe that healing means the disappearance of pain. It doesn't. Healing means understanding your pain so deeply that it no longer controls you. It becomes part of your strength, not your prison. 11 November is that reminder that the fire inside you can burn you or it can forge you. It depends on how you meet it. If you meet your pain with resistance, it burns. If you meet it with presence, it transforms. Pain refines you. Just like metal is purified by fire, the soul is strengthened through discomfort. Without pain, there is no depth. Without struggle, no wisdom. Every scar carries a lesson, and every lesson carries power. The power of 11 November lies in this truth, that transformation is not born from comfort, but from confrontation. The energy of this day invites you to stop hiding from yourself, to let the pain rise and to breathe through it until it turns into clarity. Growth is never gentle. The flower breaks the ground to rise. The seed cracks open to become a tree. Something within you must break for something higher to awaken. 11 November is that breaking point. It is the day when the old patterns start to fall apart, when the illusions you held about yourself begin to fade. It can feel uncomfortable, even unbearable, but it is necessary. It is the moment when your inner being says, "Enough, now I will rise." To carry pain is human. To turn it into power is divine. That is the purpose of this day. To remember your divinity through the cracks of your humanity. You have suffered, but that suffering has prepared you. Every loss taught you strength. Every rejection taught you value. Every ending taught you to begin again. The 11 November energy makes this realization clear, that what you went through was not random. It was refining you for something greater. Pain becomes transformation only when you stop asking why me and start asking what now. You begin to take responsibility for your growth. You start to understand that life is not against you, it's working through you. 11 November amplifies this shift. It is a turning point between victimhood and mastery. You stop blaming circumstances and begin shaping your inner state. Because pain only has power when you fight it. When you embrace it, it becomes fuel. Every deep pain is a hidden invitation to go deeper into yourself, to find the stillness beneath the storm. When you are hurt, don't just heal, awaken. Don't just move on, evolve. This is what 11 November calls for. It calls for the courage to sit with yourself, to sit in silence long enough to see that you are not your pain. You are the space in which pain arises, and that space is infinite, calm, and untouched. There is power in facing your pain without fear. There is liberation in accepting that life will test you again and again. But every test is a reminder of your strength. The energy of 11 November carries this silent teaching that the pain you carry can either define you or refine you. When you finally stop resisting, when you surrender to what is, you will feel something shift. The heaviness becomes light, the confusion becomes understanding, the wound becomes wisdom. So on 11 November, let the pain surface, let it speak. Don't hide from it, don't suppress it, watch it, listen. Because the moment you face it completely, you begin to reclaim your power. Pain is not the end, it's the passage. It's the bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. It is not here to destroy you. It is here to introduce you to your highest self. And when you understand that, you no longer fear pain. You thank it, because it was pain that woke you up to your true strength. Acceptance is the doorway through which transformation enters. On 11 November, this truth becomes louder than ever. The energy of this day does not ask you to fight life, but to flow with it. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It means finally seeing reality as it is, without denial, without disguise. It means looking at your life, your mistakes, your pain, and saying, yes, this is what is here. And in that moment of deep honesty, something powerful begins to awaken within you. So many people carry pain not because of what happened, but because they cannot accept that it happened. They replay the same moments, the same wounds, refusing to let go. But 11 November brings the vibration of release, a day that tells you, stop fighting the story of your life. Stop wishing the past was different. The energy that could heal you is being used to resist what already is. When you let go of resistance, you don't become weak. You become light. You become free. Acceptance is the point where pain turns into peace. It's not about approving everything that happened. It's about no longer allowing it to control your inner world. The energy of 11 November carries the message that true strength lies not in control, but in surrender. Surrender is not about losing power. It's about returning to your natural flow. When you stop forcing life to fit your expectations, you begin to see how perfectly it unfolds. On its own, there is deep wisdom hidden in every situation you've tried to escape. Life has never made a mistake with you. Every detour was direction, every delay was preparation. On 11 November, you are reminded that the universe has always been working in silence, shaping you through what you thought was chaos. Acceptance opens your eyes to this truth. It turns bitterness into understanding and disappointment into direction. When you fight against reality, your mind becomes a battlefield. When you accept it, peace returns. Acceptance is not the end of action. It's the beginning of intelligent action, because only when your mind is calm can you see clearly what needs to be done. The 11 November energy is the energy of clarity. It is not about doing more. It's about seeing more, seeing what is unnecessary, what is holding you back, what no longer belongs in your path. Many people confuse acceptance with passivity. They believe accepting means doing nothing. But acceptance is not inactivity, it is alignment. When you accept the truth of where you are, you stop wasting energy on denial and you start using it for transformation. The moment you say yes to life as it is, you awaken an inner force that begins to move everything toward balance. That is the hidden power of 11 November. The power that comes when you stop fighting with the present moment. Every pain you have carried began to lose its power the moment you accepted it. Acceptance breaks the chain of suffering. It's like stepping out of a storm. The storm may still rage, but you are no longer inside it. You are watching from stillness. The energy of 11 November helps you step into that stillness. It whispers, trust the flow, trust the timing. You don't need to understand every detail. You just need to stop resisting what life is showing you right now. When you finally accept something fully, something miraculous happens. The emotional weight disappears, the mind softens, the body relaxes, and a deeper intelligence begins to guide you. 11 November is that sacred reminder that the real power is born in surrender. The ego wants to control, the spirit wants to flow. The more you accept, the closer you move to your natural rhythm. And in that rhythm, life begins to move effortlessly through you. The world may tell you to fight, to struggle, to control outcomes. But the deeper teaching of 11 November is different. It says, be still. because it is in stillness that power gathers. Acceptance is that stillness. It's the state where you stop adding stories, stop arguing with reality, and begin to live consciously. When you live in acceptance, you see that everything that happens to you happens for you. Every experience becomes a lesson. Every obstacle becomes guidance. You can never find peace by trying to fix everything outside of you. The peace comes when you fix the way you look at life. 11 November is a mirror. It shows you how much of your suffering was self-created by resistance. The day invites you to drop the inner struggle and to trust the process that is already unfolding. When you do that, the same life that felt heavy begins to feel sacred. You start to see meaning in every challenge, light in every shadow, and growth in every fall. Acceptance is not an end. It is the beginning of true growth. The energy of 11 November brings this understanding closer to your heart. It asks you to accept your story, your scars, your flaws, and your past, to accept that everything had to happen exactly as it did, for you to become who you are now. Once you embrace this truth, there is no anger left, no blame, no regret, only gratitude, because you finally understand that every pain, every loss, every mistake was shaping you for this moment of awakening. So, on 11 November, stand still in your truth. Breathe deeply. Let life be as it is. Don't resist it. Don't argue with it. The pain, the chaos, the uncertainty, let them all be there without pushing them away. Because acceptance is not about changing what is outside. It's about changing what is inside. When you accept life fully, you no longer live as its prisoner. You become its master. And that is how, on this day, the pain you once fought against becomes the power that carries you forward. Awareness is the light that turns suffering into clarity. It is the silent watcher within you that sees everything. Your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions, without becoming trapped in them. On 11 November, the energy invites you to awaken this light within. This day carries the vibration of deep observation, a call to see your inner world clearly, without judgment, without fear. When awareness rises, pain begins to lose its power. The storm may still exist, but you no longer get lost in it. You begin to see the difference between what happens to you and what happens within you. Most people are not destroyed by pain itself, they are destroyed by unconscious reaction. They feel anger and become anger. They feel fear and become fear. They feel sadness and drown in it. Awareness is the moment you step back and see, this is anger, this is fear, this is sadness. You become the observer, not the emotion. On 11 November, this separation becomes your power. It is not escape, it is understanding. It is the moment when pain stops being your identity and becomes your teacher. When awareness enters your life, confusion begins to turn into wisdom. You start seeing why you repeat certain patterns, why you attract certain experiences, why you hold certain wounds. You begin to see your own mind clearly. Awareness doesn't fix you, it reveals you. It shows you who you have been and who you can become. The 11 November energy brings this mirror close, asking you to look honestly, to witness yourself without running, because running blinds you, but seeing frees you. Awareness is not thinking, it is seeing beyond thought. It is the stillness beneath the noise. On 11 November, this stillness becomes more accessible. It's as if the world slows down for a moment, giving you the chance to watch the movements of your mind with distance. You start to notice that pain only grows when you feed it with thoughts, when you replay the past, when you argue with life, when you create stories around your wounds. Awareness cuts through that illusion. It says, stop feeding the pain, just see it. And in that seeing, transformation begins. The power of 11 November lies in this inner watching. When you are aware, you stop being a slave to every emotion that passes through you. You begin to master your energy. You understand that emotions are visitors. They come and go. Awareness is the house that never moves. The storms come, but the house remains still. The more you rest in that stillness, the stronger your presence becomes. Pain no longer shakes you the way it once did. you begin to see through it, and behind every wave of emotion, there is clarity waiting. Awareness is the highest form of self-growth because it does not add anything new. It simply removes what is false. It removes the illusions, the beliefs, the unconscious habits that keep you trapped. On 11 November, when you allow yourself to be fully aware, you start to feel a deep shift. You no longer need to fight your emotions, explain them, or escape them. You just observe. Observation brings understanding. Understanding brings peace. Peace brings power. Awareness transforms pain into purpose. Because the moment you see clearly, you begin to understand that every pain was pointing you toward awakening. Every struggle was designed to wake you up from the dream of unconscious living. 11 November carries that awakening energy. It reminds you that awareness is the only thing that cannot be destroyed. Your body may feel pain, your mind may feel pressure, but your awareness remains untouched. It witnesses everything, eternally still, eternally free. Through awareness, you begin to live consciously. You start noticing the small details, the way your breath moves, the way your thoughts arise, the way your emotions shift. You realize that life is constantly speaking to you through every experience. The 11 November energy amplifies this sensitivity. It opens your perception, allowing you to see the lessons hidden in daily life. Nothing is random. Everything is reflection. Awareness is the key to reading those reflections. The more aware you become, the less you react. Instead of chaos, you respond with calmness. Instead of fear, you respond with understanding. This is true mastery, not the control of the outer world, but mastery of the inner one. On 11 November, the universe reminds you that awareness is your shield and your strength. No matter how dark the night, the one who watches the night never gets lost in it. The more light you bring into your consciousness, the less darkness can touch you. Pain tries to pull you into identification. It says you are broken. But awareness says, I am the one who sees the pain, therefore I am not the pain. This shift changes everything. You move from being trapped in emotion to being the one who holds space for it. On 11 November, this realization becomes clearer than ever. It is not about escaping suffering, but about understanding it deeply enough that it no longer controls your mind. When you live in awareness, you live in freedom. You stop being dragged by the past or haunted by the future. You live fully in the present moment, the only place where transformation can happen. 11 November invites you into that presence. It's a reminder that clarity is not found through effort, but through stillness. The quieter you become inside, the more you begin to see. So on 11 November, sit in awareness. Observe yourself without judgment. Watch the emotions rise and fall. Watch the thoughts come and go. Let awareness be your only action. Because when awareness is awake, everything begins to align. The confusion turns to understanding, the pain turns to insight, and the suffering turns to wisdom. The light of awareness dissolves the darkness of unconsciousness, and in that light, you begin to see your true self, calm, steady, and unbreakable. That is the power of awareness. That is the energy of 11 November. The day when the storm of the mind begins to clear and the clarity of the soul finally appears. Discipline is the bridge that carries you from pain to power. On 11 November, this energy becomes clear and sharp, the day that separates those who only wish for change from those who build it. Discipline is not punishment. It is direction. It is the silent force that transforms scattered energy into focused purpose. When pain enters your life, it can either drown you or drive you. What decides that is not emotion, but discipline. Pain without direction turns into chaos. But when discipline enters, the chaos becomes movement. It becomes strength. It becomes clarity. 11 November reminds you that emotions are powerful, but without discipline, they can destroy you. Discipline is the art of using your emotions instead of being used by them. It is the ability to stay calm when everything inside you wants to react, to stay committed when the mind seeks escape. On this day, the energy calls for alignment, not just intention, but action that follows intention. The true path of transformation begins when you decide to act even when you don't feel like it. The discipline to rise, to meditate, to breathe, to practice presence. This is where pain turns into growth. 11 November carries the vibration of inner training. It teaches you that self-mastery is not born from comfort, but from consistency. Every time you choose to stay focused instead of distracted, silent instead of reactive, present instead of lost, you build strength that cannot be shaken. Discipline is not about controlling yourself through force. It is about guiding your energy through awareness. It is the balance between firmness and softness. The 11 November energy invites you to practice this balance, to live with intention in every moment, to understand that the mind will always resist what is uncomfortable, but discipline is the voice that says, I will do it anyway. Growth doesn't come from what is easy. It comes from what is necessary. The world often tells you to follow your feelings, but feelings change like the wind. Discipline is the anchor that keeps you steady. It reminds you of who you are when your emotions try to make you forget. On 11 November, the strength you build through discipline becomes your greatest protection. It guards your energy. It keeps you aligned with your higher purpose, even when life tests your patience. Without discipline, even wisdom fades. With discipline, even pain becomes wisdom. Pain challenges your endurance. Discipline sharpens it. When you train the mind through daily practice, through stillness, through awareness, through effort, you begin to realize that the real victory is not over the world, but over yourself. 11 November is the moment where this truth becomes alive. It's not about achieving something outside, it's about mastering the inner space where chaos once ruled. The one who controls the mind controls destiny. Discipline transforms suffering into direction. It gives shape to energy that was once wild and uncontrolled. It helps you turn reaction into response, emotion into awareness, and pain into focus. The energy of 11 November carries this teaching strongly. It reminds you that self-discipline is the foundation of freedom. Without it, you are bound to impulses and moods. With it, you are free to act consciously, not emotionally. Growth is not a gift, it is a choice repeated daily. Discipline is that repetition, the consistent action that builds strength quietly without seeking attention. On 11 November, this consistency becomes sacred. You are being reminded that every small effort, every act of focus, every moment of stillness adds up. The transformation does not happen in one day. It happens in every moment you choose to stay on your path. The disciplined path may look slow, but it leads to the highest form of power, stability. Many people wait for motivation to act, but motivation is fleeting. Discipline is eternal. It is what remains when inspiration disappears. It is the fire you keep alive even in darkness. 11 November teaches that those who depend on emotion will fall with it, but those who move with discipline will rise beyond it. The pain you feel becomes fuel. The discomfort becomes training. Every act of discipline strengthens the bridge between who you are and who you are meant to be. Discipline is not a burden, it is a form of love. Love for your higher self, for your purpose, for your potential. On 11 November, this love becomes visible through action. To remain focused, to continue walking, to keep breathing through the storm, that is love in motion. The undisciplined mind chases pleasure. The disciplined heart builds peace. And when peace is built from discipline, no outside chaos can break it. Every time you honor your practice, every time you follow through, every time you choose growth over comfort, you rise. The energy of 11 November supports this rise. It whispers that you are stronger than your emotions, deeper than your pain, greater than your limits. But you must prove it through action. Words will not change you, repetition will, reflection will, discipline will. When the mind becomes disciplined, life becomes simple. You stop wasting energy on unnecessary battles. You begin to move with precision. The same mind that once wandered now serves you. The same emotions that once ruled you now guide you. This is the transformation that 11 November offers. The shift from being controlled by life to consciously creating it. So on 11 November, do not seek comfort, seek clarity, choose consistency over chaos. Let discipline be your quiet guide. Act even when it's hard. Stay present even when it's painful. Keep walking even when the path is steep. Because every step taken in discipline brings you closer to the version of yourself that is unshakable. Pain may visit, but it will not rule. Emotion may rise, but it will not command. Discipline will turn every shadow into structure, every wound into wisdom, every fall into strength. This is the transformation the 11 November energy brings. The moment when your pain finally finds its direction and becomes your power. When the noise of pain finally fades, what remains is silence. And in that silence, something within you begins to awaken. 11 November carries this quiet but powerful energy, the energy of rebirth through stillness. It is not the kind of rebirth that comes from effort or struggle. It comes from surrender, from finally allowing yourself to stop running. You have fought long enough, resisted long enough, carried the weight long enough. On this day, you are asked to release the fight and let stillness do the healing. Stillness is not emptiness. It is fullness in its purest form. It is the space where everything begins again. When you enter stillness, you are not escaping life. You are returning to the source of it. 11 November opens that doorway. It reminds you that transformation does not always come with thunder and fire. Sometimes it comes with silence, with deep breath, with the realization that you were never truly broken, only becoming. Pain has a purpose. It breaks down everything that is false. It burns the illusions, the attachments, the false identities you built to protect yourself. 11 November marks the moment when the burning ends and clarity begins. The ashes that remain are not signs of loss, but signs of renewal. What was destroyed was never your essence, only your limits. What survives the storm is who you truly are. When you sit in silence, you begin to see that the pain you carried was not against you. It was cleansing you. It was preparing space within you for something new to emerge. Every tear was washing away what no longer belonged. Every heartbreak was making room for wisdom. The 11 November energy makes this understanding stronger. It invites you to see rebirth not as a miracle that happens outside, but as a natural unfolding inside your own awareness. Rebirth does not come when you add more to yourself. It comes when you release what you are not. The mind constantly wants to fix, to do, to change, but 11 November teaches something different, to just be, to sit with your truth, even if it's uncomfortable, because stillness is the mirror that shows you everything clearly. When you stop trying to escape, when you stop trying to control, you begin to see the deeper order behind everything. Every ending in your life has been a silent beginning. You may not have seen it at the time, but 11 November reveals that pattern. The losses that once broke you were clearing the path. The pain that once blinded you was sharpening your sight. In stillness, you finally see how nothing was wasted. Life was never trying to punish you. It was guiding you back to yourself. Every struggle was an invitation to return to the present moment, the only place where rebirth can happen. The power of 11 November lies in this still moment between what was and what will be. It is the pause between two breaths, the gap where transformation hides. Most people fear stillness because they have never learned to rest in it. They fill it with noise, with thought, with distraction. But stillness is where your true strength lives. It is where your awareness expands, where the inner fire becomes steady instead of wild. When you enter that silence fully, you realize you were never lost. You were always here, waiting to be seen. Rebirth is not dramatic. It is sacred. It happens quietly, deep within the soul. You begin to see life differently. Not as something to win, but as something to understand. You no longer chase meaning, you live it. The 11 November energy invites you to dissolve into this understanding, to allow the new self to rise naturally, without force, without rush. You have done enough. Now is the time to be still and let what is true unfold. Stillness brings clarity, and clarity brings freedom. When you are still, you can see what needs to stay and what needs to go. You can feel which paths are real and which are illusions. 11 November is a powerful reminder that when you stop moving against the flow, life begins to move through you effortlessly. The struggle disappears, and what remains is harmony. When you allow stillness to guide you, you become unshakable. You no longer fear endings because you have seen what lies beyond them, renewal. You no longer resist pain because you have witnessed what it creates, strength. 11 November is the moment of awakening, the day when the soul remembers its own power. The silence of this day is not empty, it is alive with transformation. Rebirth through stillness means returning to your natural state, calm, aware, whole. It is remembering that you are not the pain, not the fear, not the chaos. You are the consciousness that observes them. You are the space in which all things rise and fall. On 11 November, this truth becomes clear. The storm of emotion quiets, and the stillness that has always been there begins to shine. You do not need to chase healing. You need to stop interfering with it. The body knows how to heal. The mind knows how to balance. The soul knows how to rise. 11 November carries this deep reminder that when you stop trying to control your transformation, it begins to happen naturally. The pain turns to peace. The confusion turns to clarity. The struggle turns to silence. And in that silence, you are reborn. So on 11 November, let stillness hold you. Let it wash over every wound, every memory, every thought. Let it clear the noise inside. Don't search for meaning. Feel it. Don't force growth. Allow it. The new version of you is not built. It is revealed. It rises gently from the ashes of what you once thought you were. This is the power of 11 November. The day the inner fire becomes light, the pain becomes peace, and the silence becomes the sound of your rebirth.